Hello, I'm Ed from Berlinettes and we're on Willow Street in Shoreditch, and tonight we are DJing the release of our Bugged Out compilation that is coming out on Monday the 24th of September, I think so, yeah. We started the band when we were about 13 years old, and we've been playing together, and I'm 26 now, so it's quite a long time, and kind of the band has sort of, the style of our music has changed a lot over the years. We started out kind of playing lots of sort of punk and hardcore music, and then we kind of got into a lot of warp records and electronic music and stuff like that around 17 years old, and that's when we first started going to clubs, and I think it was from then that we sort of realised that the kind of dancier aspect of what we do was going to be part of the Berlinettes and the sound.
Okay, so you began in England? In
St Albans, which is north of London, and it's a very nice, very middle class kind of, it's like a city north of, about 20 minutes north of London. I think, you know what, I think it was easier for us being outside of London. I think for a lot of London bands it's very difficult because people hear your name straight away, and then your first gig, loads of A&R people from labels turn up, and ultimately your first few gigs are going to be shit. That's just the way it is. But we had a lot of time to sort of really prepare and perfect like our sound before we came into London. And yeah, we produce and record all of our music ourselves in our garage. We've done certain tracks with producers. We've done tracks with Paul Epworth, who we really respect because he has kind of the same idea about what good pop music is, and ultimately we are a pop band. Yeah, so with Paul it was like we'd record all the guitar parts, all the drums and all the bass, and we'd take it to Paul, and he'd sort of maybe tear it apart and put his kind of twist on things. Yeah. But with this new record we've recorded most of it in our garage. I think it's kind of like a formula that we're used to, and we don't want to mess with it. We don't want to go in a massive studio and record our second album with really expensive producers and stuff like that. The romanticism about Paris, the fact that it's like a symbol of like love and romance, and it seemed like I wrote it for a friend who's from Nottingham, and she'd never been abroad before, and she was just like, oh, I really want to go to Paris just because it's so amazing. I'm so bored of Nottingham. The weather's really shit here. The weather's really bad. And it kind of seemed like a sort of an ideal. It seemed like something that was looking like aiming to be something that's better than where you are. I suppose that's what the song's about. Yeah, it's quite simple. It's not really about Paris specifically. We're talking about playing lots of festivals. Yeah, I think we work well in a festival environment. I don't know why. I think some of our tracks, like Skeleton Boy and Jumping the Pool, just sound really big and epic, and they work really well on a big stage. And that's ultimately the kind of band that we want to be. We don't want to be like some cool underground band that kind of plays to like a select audience. We really want to like expand as much as possible, and yeah, I think when you have songs that are essentially really big, huge pop songs, yeah, I think they work well in the festival environment. We play a lot of fashion events. I don't know why we've ended up being in that kind of circle, but we have kind of played a lot of fashion events, and the crowds at fashion gigs are very difficult because they're not there to see you play at all. They're there to like kind of socialise and talk about what's that person wearing there. Yeah, so it's fun playing to crowds like that and trying to engage with them and try and capture their attention. And so yeah, that's what I like about festivals. Or festivals, or playing to any crowd that aren't necessarily there to see you. Whereas I think small intimate live gigs are great. I mean, it's totally dependent. Some gigs are shit. Some gigs are good. I feel like I'm yabbering on. Yeah. I don't really have like a favourite brand or label. I think I went through a stage of wearing lots of Vivienne Westwood shirts, and then I kind of look back on it. I'm like, I don't think I really like the clothes that I wore then. Yeah, it just wasn't. I think I really like Trickers shoes. I'm wearing Trickers now. We kind of try and I like a Geese and Hawks Trickers, very English brand.
Yeah.
Because I suppose I'm pretty middle class and very English, and I just like to portray that kind of that image across. I would never wear like a sharp Dior suit or anything like that. I feel like with French audiences, it's always been really tough. And like we wrote this song Paris, it's like, come on, admittedly, it isn't about Paris. I mean, it's about that whole idea that I was talking about earlier, but it's always been quite tough with French audiences. I don't know why it is. I'm not slagging off French audiences at all, but I kind of feel like a lot of the bands that do really well in France have a really strong image. I don't think we have a really strong image as a band. I think it's always like, I remember seeing the band The Drums had their first gig, I think in Paris, was bigger than any venue that we've ever played ever. I was like, really? I mean, but then I kind of don't mind. I'm up for slaving away and trying to win over the French public, but I think the French public are hard crowd to win over. If you don't have like this slightly tortured kind of, like Pete Doherty's really big. Pete Doherty's huge in France.
But just because of Kate Moss.
Yeah.
Just because of fashion.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Or being like, a tortured heroin addict. That kind of, that's not us. So hopefully, when this next record comes out, the French public will realise that we know our shit and we have a really good taste in music, and we know like our music is. I think our music's just really good quality, classic sounding pop.
Okay, German one.
German crowd, wow. I'm apologising to the German public for not playing in Germany enough, and I think Munich is probably my favourite city, one of my favourite cities in the world. And it's funny, whenever I chat to someone from Germany, they always say Munich's just full of rich people, and it's really there's not a lot going on. There isn't much of an art scene, but to me, I remember sort of touching down on the aeroplane and going in the airport and just getting this really good feeling about the city. I think when if I ever become really rich, I will probably move to Munich.
Okay. Okay, thank you.